Good evening, and welcome to U of D Jesuit's production of 12 Angry Jurors. As a courtesy to the actors and audience members, please turn off all electronic devices. Due to our performance agreement with Dramatist Play Service, photography and video recording are strictly prohibited. Please refrain from bringing any food or drink inside the theater. If you can follow these rules, you will be found not guilty. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a great responsibility. Thank you, jurors. The jury, we're at your time. He doesn't stand a chance.
Chewing gum? Gum? Gum?
Thank you, but no.
You know something? I know lots of things. I mean, advertising. You know, it's hot. Never would have known that. If you hadn't told me, would you?
I suppose not. I'd kind of forgotten.
All I've done all day is sweat.
I bet you went swimming like that kid he was trying.
You'd think it at least air conditioned the place. I almost felt like a court.
My taxes are high enough.
This should go fast anyways.
Yes, it's hot.
Okay, jurors, everybody's here. If there's anything you want, I'm right outside. Just nod.
Did he lock that door?
Yes, he did.
What does he think we are, crooks?
They locked us up for a little while.
Then they lock that kid up forever. That's okay by me.
I never knew they did that.
Sure they locked the door. What did you think?
I just didn't know. It never occurred to me.
Shall we all admit right now that it's hot and humid and our tempers are short? It's been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
I wonder what's been going on down at the office. You know how it is in advertising. In 6 days, my job could be gone. The whole company, too. They aren't going to like this. Well, figure it's our duty. I didn't object to doing my duty. I just mentioned that I might not have a job by the time I get back.
That's good at you. She's rich. Just look at the dress.
Is it custom tailored?
Yes, it is.
I've been helping with the tailor.
How does he do?
Not too well. A friend of his, that is, a friend of mine who's with a tailor. I'll just spend one to be on the jury in my place.
Why didn't you let him? I would have done anything that makes this.
Get caught or something? You know what kind of fine you could pay for anything like that? Anyway, this friend of my uncle's was on a jury about 10 years ago. A case just about like this one. So what happened? They let him off, reasonable doubt. And you know about 8 years later, they found out he actually done the crime. A guilty man. A murder was turned loose on the street.
Did they get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
A man can't be held in double jeopardy, unless it's a hung jury. You can't try a man twice for the same crime.
That isn't gonna happen here.
6 days. It sure fished in too. Talk, talk, talk. Did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
Everybody gets a fair trial. That's the system. This boss can't say anything against it.
How'd you like that business about the knife? Did you ever hear a phonier story?
Well, look, you gotta expect that. You know what we're dealing with.
He bought a switch knife that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
A hole in his father.
It's an awful way to kill your father. A knife in his chest.
Look at the kind of people they are. You know them. What's wrong?
What's the matter? You got a cold?
A Lulu. These hot weather coats can kill you.
I had one last year. While I was on vacation, too.
All right, jurors, let's take our seats.
Right. This better be fast. I got the cats for tonight. I wasn't the only guy in the world who hasn't seen it yet. All right, Your Honor. Let's start the show.
How about sitting down? The lady at the window, how about sitting down?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's tough to figure, isn't it? A kid kills his father. Just like that. Well, it's the element. They let the kids run wild. Maybe it serves them right.
There are better proofs than some emotion you may have. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
We all agreed that it was hot.
And that our tempers will get short.
That's if we disagree. But this is open and shut. Let's get it done.
All right, now, you jurors can handle this any way you want to. I mean, I'm not going to make any rules. If you want to discuss it first and then vote, that's one way we can do things. Or you can vote right now and see where we stand.
Let's vote now. Who knows? Maybe we can all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right, let's vote now.
All right, let us vote.
Anyone who doesn't want to vote?
That was easy.
All right, all those voting guilty, raise your hand. 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 votes guilty. Okay, not guilty?
Hey, you're in left field.
1 vote guilty, not guilty. Now we know where we stand.
Do you really believe he's not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, she doesn't know.
In 6 days, I could learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't believe it's as simple as ABC.
I've never seen a guilty man in my life.
What does a guilty man look like? He is not guilty until we say he's guilty. Are we to vote on his face?
You said Brian Cohen heard the same things I did. The man's a dangerous killer. You could see it.
Where do you look to see if a man is a killer?
Oh, well,
I would like to know. Tell me what facial characteristics of a killer are. Maybe you know something I don't know. Look, what is there about this case that makes you think the boy is innocent? He's 19 years old.
that's only enough. He knocked his own father, punches into the chest. An innocent little 19-year-old kid.
While I agree with you that the kid is guilty, I think we should try and avoid emotionally colored arguments.
All right, they proved it does different ways. Want me to list them?
No?
Well, you believe that stupid story he told?
No.
Do you believe the kid's story?
I don't know whether to believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what'd you vote not guilty for?
There were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send the boy off to die without talking about it first.
Who said it's easy for me?
Or me, no one.
He's still just as guilty whether it's an easy vote or a hard one.
Is there something wrong because I voted fast?
Not necessarily.
I think the guy's guilty. You couldn't change my mind if you talked for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind.
Just what you're thinking of.
I just want to talk for a while. Look, this boy's been kicked around all his life. You know, living in the slum. His father dead since he was 9. That's not a very good head start. He's a tough, angry kid. You know why slum kids get that way? Because we knock them over the head once a day, every day. I think we maybe own a few words, that's all. Oh, right. It's hard, sure. It was hard for me. Everything I've done, I fought for. I worked my way through college. Now, that was a long time ago, and perhaps you do forget. I fought, yes, but I never killed.
I know what it's like. I never killed nobody.
I've been kicked around too. Wait until you've worked in an ad agency and the big boy who buys the advertising walks in. We all know.
In my country, in Yoda, kicking was a science. Let us try to find something better than that.
Well, I don't mind telling you this, Missy. We don't owe the kid a thing. He got a fair trial, didn't he? You know what the trial cost. He's lucky he got it. Look, we're all grown-ups here, and you're not going to tell us that we're supposed to believe the kid's story, knowing what he is. I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say. You know that.
don't know that. What a terrible thing for a man to believe. Since when is dishonesty a group characteristic? You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. You don't need a sermon.
What this man says is very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to behave like human beings.
Right. Oh, all right. If you insist.
Thank you.
Sure.
If we're going to discuss this case, why, let's discuss the facts.
That's a good point. We have a job to do. Let's do it.
If you all don't mind, I'm going to close the window. It was blowing on my neck,
If you don't mind, I like to have the window open.
but it was blowing on me.
Don't you want a little air? It's summer. It's hot.
I was very uncomfortable.
There are 12 of us in this room. It's the only working window. If you don't mind,
I have some nice too.
so do the rest of us.
Couldn't you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right, I'll open the window. Is someone afraid?
Take my chair.
Thank you.
Shall we get back to the case?
Yeah, let's.
I may have an idea. I'm just thinking out loud now, but it seems to me that it's up to us to convince this woman that we're right and she's wrong. Maybe if we each talk for a minute or two, you know? Try it on the size.
That sounds fair.
Very fair.
Suppose we go once around the table.
Okay, let's start it off.
All right, let's start with you.
Oh, well, I just think he's guilty. I thought it was obvious.
In what way was it obvious?
I mean that nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on his prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. That's in the Constitution. The Fifth Amendment. You've heard of it. Everyone has.
Well, sure, I've heard of it. I mean, I know it is. Well, whatever it was that, I just think he's guilty.
No reasons, just guilty. There is a life at stake here.
All right, let's get to the facts. Number one, let's take the old man who lived on the second floor, right in the room where the murder took place. At 10 minutes after 12, on 9 the killing. He said he heard loud noises coming from the upstairs apartment. He said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid say to his father, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard a body fall. And we went to the door of his apartment, looked out, and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police. They found the father with a knife in his chest.
And the coroner fixed the time of death at around midnight.
Right. Now else do you want?
It doesn't seem to fit. The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? You're absolutely right.
He didn't even keep his ticket stub.
Who keeps a ticket stub at the movies? That's true enough.
I suppose, but the cashier didn't remember him.
The ticket taker didn't either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, then nothing does.
That's right. She saw the killing, didn't she?
Let's go in order. Just a minute. Here's a woman who's lying in bed at night and can't sleep. It's hot, you know. Anyway, she wakes up and she looks out the window, and across the street, she sees the boy stick the knife into his father.
How can she really be sure it was the kid when she saw through the windows of a passing elevated train?
She's known the kid all his life. His window is right opposite hers, across the L tracks. And she swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
Okay, and they proved in court that you can look through the windows of a passing elevated train at night and see what's happening on the other side. They proved it.
Weren't you telling us just a minute or two ago that you can't trust them, that you can't believe them?
So?
Then I'd like to ask you something. How come you believed her? She's one of them too, isn't she?
You're a pretty smart woman, aren't you? All right, let's take it easy now.
Come on, sit down. What do you want to get upset for? Relax.
People, they did take us out to the woman's apartment, and we looked through the windows of a passing elevated train. Didn't we? Yes, we did. And weren't you able to see what happened on the other side? I didn't see it as well as they told me I would see, but I did see what happened on the other side.
You see? Do you see?
Hey, calm down now. It's your turn?
Oh, I'll pass it.
That's your privilege. What about you?
I don't know. I started to be convinced, you know, the testimony from the people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I could be wrong. I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock. They heard the father hit the boy twice, and then saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
What does that prove?
Well, it doesn't exactly
else?
No.
I don't know. Most of it's been said already. We can talk all day about this thing, but I think we're wasting our time.
I don't. Neither do I. Go on.
Look at the kid's record. He's stolen a car. He's been arrested for mugging. I think they said he stabbed somebody in the arm.
They did.
He was picked up for knife fighting. At 15, he was in reform school.
They sent him to a reform school for stabbing someone.
This is a very fine boy.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I, on a kid like that.
Right, it's the kids. The way they know, they don't listen. I've got a kid. When he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. I saw him. I was so ashamed. So he told him right out, I'm gonna make a man out of you, I'm gonna bust you in little pieces trying. He was 15, he hit me in the face. He's big, you know. Haven't seen him in 3 years. Rotten kid. I hate tough kids. You work your heart out. Alright, let's go on with it.
We're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, and so do you. The children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of it. Believe me.
I've lived in the slum all my life.
Now wait a second.
I used to play in the backyard that's filled with garbage. Maybe some smells on me.
All right, let's be reasonable. It's nothing personal.
This is something personal.
Come on now. Didn't mean you, fella. It's not being so sensitive.
Who did he mean?
I can understand this sensitivity.
Let's stop bickering.
We're wasting time.
It's your turn.
All right. I had a peculiar feeling about this trial. Somehow I thought the defense counsel never conducted a thorough cross-examination. Too many questions were left unasked. While it doesn't change my opinion on the guilt of the boy, so I agree with you that the defense counsel was bad.
So?
This is the point.
What about the facts?
So many questions were never answered.
What about the questions that were answered? For instance, let's talk about that cute little switch knife. You know, the one that fine upright kid admitted buying?
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here and look at it. I'd like to see it again, Mr. Foreman.
We all know what it looks like. I'll see where I have to look at it again. What do you think?
The woman has a right to see exhibits and evidence.
Okay with me.
This knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence, don't you agree? I do. Now, let's get the sequence of events right in order as they relate to the switch knife.
The boy admits going out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punched, or punched. He went to the neighborhood store and bought the switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day after admitting to selling it to the boy.
I think we can all agree that's an unusual knife. Pretty hard to get something like that.
The storekeeper identified the knife and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did he get it?
As a present for a friend of his, he says.
Am I right so far? Right.
You bet she's right. Now why don't you listen to her? She knows what she's talking about.
Next, the boy claimed that on the way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket, that he never saw it again. Now there's a story, people. You know what really happened. The boy took the knife home, and a few hours later, stabbed his father with it. He even remembered to wipe away the fingerprints. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Are you trying to tell me that someone picked it up off the street, went to the boy's home, and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing? No. I'm saying it's possible that the boy lost the knife and that somebody else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible. Take a look at that knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life, and neither had the storekeeper who sold it to him. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence? I'm not trying to make anyone accept it. I'm just saying it's possible.
No, I'm saying it's not possible. What are you trying to do?
Yeah, what is this? Who do you think you are?
Look at it. It's the same knife. Quiet. Let's stay quiet.
Where did you get it? I got it in a little junk shop around the corner from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now listen to me.
I'm listening.
You pulled a real smart trick here. We proved absolutely zero. There can be 10 knives like that. So what?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied and you know it.
And maybe he did lie. Maybe he did lose the knife, and maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe the reason the cashier didn't recognize him was because he sneaked into the movies. And maybe he was ashamed to say so. Is there anybody here who didn't sneak into the movies once or twice when they were young?
I didn't.
Really? Not even once?
We didn't have movies.
Maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe he didn't. And he may have lied. Do you think he lied?
Now that's a stupid question. Sure, he lied.
Do you? You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied. Do you think he lied?
I don't know. Now wait a second. What are you, the guy's lawyer? Listen, there's still 11 of us here who think he's guilty. You're alone. What do you think you're trying to accomplish? If you want to be stubborn and hang his jury, he'll be tried again and found guilty, sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We can be here all night.
It's only one night. A man may die.
Oh, now come on.
Well, yes, that's true.
I think we ought to get on with it now.
Right, let's keep going here.
How you like this girl?
What do you say? You're the one who owns up the show.
Obviously, you don't think the boy is guilty. I have a doubt in my mind. But you haven't presented anything to us that makes it possible for us to understand your doubt. There's the old man downstairs. He heard it. He heard the kid shriek it out.
The woman across the L tracks. She saw it.
We know he bought a switch knife that night, and we don't know where he really was. At the movies?
Earlier that night, the kid and his father did get into a fight.
He's been a violent kid all the way. And his father doesn't prove anything.
Still, no.
I've got a proposition to make. I want to call for a vote. I want you 11 people to vote by a secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take it a guilty verdict right now.
Okay, let's do it.
That sounds fair. Is everyone agreed?
I certainly am.
Well, let's roll it.
Perhaps this is best.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
That's 6.
Please. 6 guilty. 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 Not guilty. Guilty.
How do you like that?
Who was it? I think we have a right to know.
Who right? Who did it? What did he change their vote?
Is that the way to talk about a man's life?
Whose life are you talking about? Life of a dead man or life of a murderer?
I want to know.
Who? So do I.
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot.
No one looked white did it. Now I want to know.
A secret ballot. We all agreed on that point, no? If the person wants to remain a secret,
What do
then
you mean? There are no secrets in here. I know who it was. What's the matter with you? You come to me for guilty, and then this little creature starts to tear your heart out. Says about one little kid just couldn't help become the murderer. So you change your vote. That's the most
Now
sickening.
hold it.
I agree with you that the boy is guilty. But let's be fair.
Be fair? That's just what I'm saying here. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs. And all of a sudden, we're paying attention to fairy tales.
No, just a minute.
You listen to me.
Let's try to keep this organized, ladies and gentlemen.
This isn't organized. But let's try and be civilized.
please, I would like to say something here. I've always thought a person was entitled to their unpopular opinion in this country. This was the reason that I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually, I would. In this one case, I agree with you. But the point I wish to make is that in my own country, I was ashamed to say that
Oh, now what do we have to listen to? The whole history of your country?
We should always bear in mind what has happened in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are, so let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, let's stick to the subject. I want to ask you, what made you change your vote?
I want to too. You haven't told us yet.
Why do you think I did change my vote?
Because I do. Now get on with it.
There's nothing for him to tell you. He didn't change his vote. I did.
Going to tell you. You're so sure of yourself.
Sorry. Okay, now,
Maybe you'd like to know why?
let me tell you why kids
The
are...
man wants to speak.
Thank you. This woman chose not to stand alone against us. That's her right. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. She left the verdict up to us. She gambled for support, and I gave it to her. I want to hear more. The vote is 10-2.
That's fine. Now, if the speech is over, let us go on.
If there's anything in this kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
As guilty as they get. That's the kid, I suppose.
It's that one jury that's holding out. But she'll come around. She's got to. And fundamentally, she's a very reasonable person.
I guess so.
They haven't come up with one real fact yet to back up a not guilty verdict.
It's hard, you know?
Yes, it is. And what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
What's a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life is at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? You've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. If you don't, everyone's just going to start knifing people.
There's not much doubt here.
2 people think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Well, you do hear stories about innocent men who are gone to jail or death sometimes. But then years later, things turn up.
And then, on the other hand, some killers get turned loose and do it again. They get turned out on some technicality and kill again.
Look, buddy, now we've put off why. I was a little excited a minute ago. You know how it is. I didn't mean to get nasty. Nothing personal.
Okay. Look, suppose you answer me this. If the kid didn't kill him, who did?
As far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the boy on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
I suppose, but who else had a motive?
The kid's father was along in years, maybe an old grudge.
Remember, it is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is an important thing to remember.
Everyone's a lawyer. Suppose you tell us what the reasonable doubts are.
This is not easy. So far, it's only a feeling I have. A feeling. Perhaps you don't understand?
No, I don't.
A feeling? What are we gonna do? Spend the whole night talking about your feelings? What about the facts?
You said a mouthful. Look, the old man heard the kid yell, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard the father's body falling. He saw the kid running out of the house 15 seconds after that.
Where's the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right. Let's not forget about the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, that's not enough for you.
It's not enough for me. What is enough for you? I'd like to know.
How do you like her? It's like talking to a dead phone.
The woman saw the killing through the windows of a passing elevated train. The train had 5 cars, and she saw through the windows of the last 2 cars. She remembers the most insignificant details.
What have you got to say about that?
I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me.
Well, suppose you think about it. Lend me your pencil. Let's play some tic-tac-toe. Might as well pass the time.
This isn't a game.
No, wait a minute.
This is a man's life.
Who do you think you are?
All right, let's take it easy.
You got a good mind to walk around the table and bubble one.
Please, I don't want any fights in here.
Did you see her? The nerve. That's the nerve.
All right, forget it. It don't mean anything.
How about sitting down?
This isn't a game. Who she thinks she is?
Weren't we talking about elevated trains? Yes, we were. So, all right. How long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point? What does that have to do with anything? How long did it take? Yes. I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
Neither would I.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think?
10 to 12 seconds.
I'd say that's a fair guess. Anyone else?
I think 10 seconds, perhaps.
About 10 seconds, yeah.
All right, we're agreed. 10 seconds. What are you getting at? This. An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You could almost reach out of the hands out of the window of that room and touch the L, right?
That's right. I tried it.
So, all right, now let me ask you this. Did anybody ever live right next to the L tracks?
I have.
They make a lot of noise, don't they? I've lived right by the L tracks. When your window is open and the train goes by, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't even hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point.
The old man who lived downstairs heard the boy
He
say,
didn't say it. He screamed it.
the old man heard the boy scream, I'm going to kill you, and 1 second later he heard a body fall. 1 second, that's the testimony, right?
Right?
The woman across the street looked through the windows of the last 2 cars of that L and saw a body fall, right? Right.
So?
The last 2 cars. The last 2 cars.
What are you giving us here?
An L train takes 10 seconds to pass a given point, or 2 seconds per car. That L had been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds, or maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man would have had to hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you, as the front of the L was roaring right past his nose. It's not possible he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure you could have heard it.
With an L train going by,
He said the boy yelled it out.
an L train makes a lot of
It's
noise.
enough for me.
It's enough for me too.
I don't think he could have heard it.
Maybe the old man didn't hear it. Are you into L noise?
What are you people talking about? Are you calling the old man a liar?
Something doesn't fit.
Well, it stands to
You're
reason that...
crazy. Why do you lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send them into the newspaper? They pay $2.
What does that have to do with a man's life? Why make the old man a lie? You have a right to be heard.
Well, it's just that I looked at him for a very long time. The seam of his jacket was split under his arm. Did you notice that? He was a very old man with a torn jacket, and he carried 2 canes. I think I know him better than anyone here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant man who's been nothing all his life, who's never had any recognition. His name in the newspapers. No one knows him after 75 years. This is a very sad thing. A man like this needs to be recognized, to be questioned, and listened to, and quoted, just once. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us that the old man lied about a thing like this, just so he could be important.
No, he wouldn't really lie. But perhaps he made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
That's the most fantastic story I've ever heard of. How can you make up a thing like that?
I'm not making it up.
You must be making it up. People don't lie about things like that.
He made himself believe he told the truth.
What do you know about it?
I speak from experience.
What?
I am the same man.
I think we all understand that. Thank you.
If you want to make you a liar, it's all right by me.
Now that is too much.
He's a liar. He just told us so.
He did not say he was a liar. He was explaining.
Didn't you just admit to us you're a liar?
Please, he was explaining the circumstances so we could understand why the old man might have lied. There is a difference.
A liar's a liar. That's all there is to it.
Please, have some compassion.
Nurse, please. We have our job and our duty here.
I think they've covered it. I hope we have.
All right, is there anything else?
Cough drop?
No, thank you.
Does anybody want a cough drop?
All right, let's get on with it.
I'll take one. Thank you. Now, there's something else I'd like to point out here. I think we proved that the old man couldn't have heard the boy say, I'm going to kill you.
Well, I disagree.
Let's hear it through anyway. But supposing the old man really did hear the boy say, I'm going to kill you. This phrase, how many times have each of you used it? Probably hundreds. If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him! We say it every day. This doesn't mean we're really going to kill someone. Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
One thing more. The phrase was, I'm going to kill you. He screamed it from the top of his lungs.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would shout out something like that so the whole neighborhood would hear it? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Right? He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English. The boy is clever enough.
I would like to change my vote to not guilty.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Vote is 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I'd like to know why you changed your vote.
I think there's a doubt.
Where? What's the doubt?
Well, there's the knife.
Oh, fine.
She talked you into believing a fairy tale.
Go on, give us the reasons.
The old man too.
Maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did. Or maybe he just doesn't like the kid.
Well, if that isn't the end,
I think there is a reasonable doubt.
what are you basing it on? Stories this woman made up? Sure, I'll write for Amazing Detective Monthly. She'll make a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he? Why did his lawyer bring up all these points?
Lawyers can't think of everything.
Oh, brother. You sit here and pull these stories out of thin air. Now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get out of bed, run to the door, and see the kid beat it downstairs 15 seconds after the killing.
That's the testimony, I believe.
And the old man swore to this. Yes, the old man swore to this only so he could be informed.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how the old man could run.
He said he went. I remember it now. He went from his bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it? Where was the bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall. Are we supposed to send a man off to die because it's down the hall somewhere?
I thought you remembered everything. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't.
I don't remember either.
Mr. Foreman, I'd like to take a look at the diagram of the apartment.
Why don't we have him on the trial lawyer? Just so you can get everything straight.
The bedroom is down the hall somewhere. Do you know? Do you know exactly where it is? Please, a man's life is at stake. Do you know?
Well,
Mr. Foreman.
I heard you. All right, what's this one for? How come you're the only one in the room who would see exhibits all the time?
Hey, I want to see this too.
So do I.
That was not wasting time.
Are we going to start wading through all of that nonsense about where the body is found? We're not. We're going to find out how a man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and who walks with a pair of canes can get to his front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
How does he know how long 15 seconds is? Can't judge that kind of thing.
He said 15. He was very positive about it.
He's an old man, you saw that. Half the time he's confused. How can you be positive about anything? Well, you know.
No, I don't know. Maybe you know.
Is this what you wanted? That's right, thank you. Sure, that's the job. Want this?
Yes, please.
Wake me up when this is over.
I looked at that diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Some of us are interested. Go ahead. All right. This is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. Here are the L tracks. The bedroom, living room, bathroom, kitchen, and this is the hall. Here's the front door to the apartment, and here are the steps. Now, the old man was in bed in this room. He says he got up, went out into the hall, down the hall, to the front door, and opened it, and looked out just in time to see the boy racing down the stairs. Am I right? That's the story.
That's what happened.
15 seconds after he heard a body fall.
Correct.
His bed is out the window. It's 12 feet from the bed to the bedroom door. The length of the hall is 43 feet 6 inches. He had to get up out of bed, get his canes, walk 12 feet, open the bedroom door, walk 43 feet, and open the front door, all in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
You would have been in a hurry. He did hear the scream.
He can only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness trap.
You make it sound like a long walk. It's not.
For an old man who uses canes, it's a long walk.
What are you doing?
I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took him. I'm going to pace off 12 feet, the length of the bedroom.
You're crazy. You can't even create a thing like that.
Perhaps if we could see it. This is an important point.
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Never do it.
I can't see any harm in it. Foolish, but go ahead. Hand me a chair, please. All right, this is the bedroom door. How far would you say it's from here to the door of this room?
I'd say it was 20 feet.
Just about.
20 feet is close enough. All right, from here to the door and back is 40 feet. It's shorter than the length of the hall that the old man had to go through. Wouldn't you say that?
A few feet, maybe.
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do this?
You can't stop her.
Do you mind if I try it? According to you, it'll only take 15 seconds. We can spare that. always get a watch in the second hand.
Ida,
When you want me to start, stamp your foot. That'll be the body ball.
well, time me from there.
Let's say he keeps his canes right at his bedside, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm waiting for the hand to get to 60.
Oh, speed it up!
I think this is even more quickly than the old man moved through the courtroom.
No, it isn't.
If you think I should go faster, I will. Speed it up a little. Stop.
Break.
What's the time?
15, 20, 30, 35, 39 seconds exactly.
That can't be.
39 seconds? Now that's interesting.
Hey now, you know,
What do you think of that?
39 seconds. 39. And the old cripple swore on his oath that it was only 15. She may have been a bit off on the speed that the old cripple moved that 24 seconds wrong. Well, now you know.
Far be it from me to call anyone a liar, and even allowing for quite a difference in speed between you and the old man. Well, still, there's quite a...
What a discrepancy. It's my guess that the old man was trying to get to the front door, heard somebody racing down the stairs, and assumed that it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assumed? Listen to me, people. I saw all kinds of dishonesty in my day, but this little display takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell her. Come with your heart, think all over the floor about slum kids and injustice, and make up these wild stories. You got some soft-hearted laces in you. Line up. I'm getting real sick of you. What's the matter with you people? This kid is guilty. He's got to burn. We'd like to have some of our fingers here.
Our fingers. Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
This kid, you bet I pull the switch.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see a boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You're a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up. Let me go. I'll kill her. I'll kill her.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
We'll unzip our fingers here.
Our fingers. Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you'd bet I'd pull the switch.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see a boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts. You're a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up. Let me go. I'll kill her. I'll kill her.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
Is there anything wrong, jurors? I heard some noise.
No, there's nothing wrong. You can take that back. We're done.
Who are you looking at?
I don't see why we behave like children here. Nor do I. We have a responsibility. This is a wonderful thing about democracy. That we are, what is the word? Notified. We are notified by mail to come down to this place and decide on the guilt or innocence of a man we have not yet known before. We have nothing to gain or lose by a verdict. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
Thank you very much.
Why do we thank you?
We forget. It's good to be reminded.
I'm glad we're going to be civilized about this.
Well, we're still nowhere.
No, we're somewhere. Or getting there, maybe. Maybe.
Who's got an idea?
I think maybe we should try to vote. Mr. Coleman?
It's all right with me. Anyone object?
No, let's vote.
Yes, vote.
And one open ballot. Let's call it a vote. One know who stands where.
That sounds fair. Is everyone agreed? All right, I'll call out your jury number. I vote guilty. 2,
not guilty?
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
11,
Not guilty.
12,
Guilty.
That's 6 to 6.
I'll tell you something. The crime is being committed right in this room.
The vote is 6 to 6. I'm going to walk the court right now and declare hung jury. There's no point in this going on anymore.
I'd like to know why you've changed your mind, and why you've changed your mind, and why you did. There are 6 people here who think we're turning a murderer loose in the streets. Emotional dude. Why?
It would seem that the old man did not see the boy run downstairs. I don't think it likely that the old man heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men dream. And if the boy did scream that he was going to kill, it would be authority of this man to prove that it might not really mean he's going to kill.
Why don't we take it into the judge and let the kid take his chances with all other people?
6 to 6. I don't think we'll ever agree on anything.
It's gotta be unanimous. You're never gonna convince her.
At first, I was alone. Now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
You can't never convince me that there's a doubt, because I know there isn't no doubt.
I tell you what, maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We are not going to be a hung jury.
But we are, right now, a perfect balance. Let's take it into the judge.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there in my mind.
Maybe we should vote.
What do you mean vote?
Not again.
I still want to know. What do you mean?
No. We'll vote on whether we are or aren't the hung jury.
You mean that we vote yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we are not a hung jury?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
We can't even agree on whether or not the window should be open.
Majority wins.
If 7 or more of us vote yes, that we are a hung jury, we take it to the judge and tell him we are a hung jury.
That's right. If 7 or more of us vote no, then we are the hung jury, and we keep on discussing it.
It doesn't seem quite right to me.
It's the only solution.
I agree. It's the only way.
Anything to end this.
So we're agreed then. 7 or more votes and we take it into the judge?
Let's call our votes out.
All right. I vote yes, we are a hung jury. 2,
No.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
12.
Yes.
Oh no.
Vote is 6 to 6.
We can't even get a majority to decide whether or not we're a hung jury.
I went along with the majority vote on this question. And I didn't agree with voting that way, not really. And I still don't. So I'm changing my vote. I say no, we are not a hung jury. I believe the boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I want to find things out from those people that change their minds.
So we aren't the hung jury. So we go on?
Good, we go on. Why did you change your mind?
Well, she seems so sure, and she's made a number of good points. Well, he just gets mad and insults everybody.
Does the anger and insult change guilt to the boy? He did do it. Are you going to turn a murderer loose because one of the jurors gets angry when he thinks a murderer is being turned loose?
That's true.
There is a doubt.
I don't think so. The track is straight in front of the window. Let's take that one. So the train would have made a low rumbling noise, and trains screech when they go around curves. So the old man could have heard a scream, which is high-pitched. And it is a tenement. They have thin walls.
Good, good. That's it, that's it.
So the old man could have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw. Please remember that there weren't any fingerprints on the switch knife. And it is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Now why do you listen to her? She's got the goods.
And it might have taken the murderer a couple seconds to get out a handkerchief and wipe away the fingerprints. This is a point.
Why don't we just send this one to see?
Just what are we typing?
Yes, let's be exact, please. I'm saying that the old man might have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw running down the stairs. Now, it could have taken the murderer about 39 seconds to get out a handkerchief, wipe away all the fingerprints, and get down to the stairs to the place where the old man saw him. The boy, that is.
This is right.
We reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and walking to the door, and we timed that. Now let's reconstruct the actual crime.
As well as we can reconstruct it.
I think a murder accused of 30 or 40 seconds pretty easily at that point.
Let's reconstruct the killing.
Yes, let's.
Here, you do the stabbing.
No, I'll do it.
Only be the one that gets stabbed. You never deny. Don't forget, you take 1 second to fall.
And she was found at his side.
his right side. So fall and roll onto your right side. If someone hates another person enough to kill them, don't you think that it's reasonable to suppose that the murderer would look at his victim for a second or two?
Divorce yourself from this particular case. Just human nature.
Yes, it seems reasonable.
But wait a minute. He falls, he ends up on his right side. The father did. But stabbing someone isn't like shooting them. Even when it's right in the heart. The father would have worked around for a few seconds. Lying down on the floor. Writhing maybe.
That's quite possible. There would have been enough oxygen in the system to carry him for 2 or 3 seconds, I should think. What if the father would have found out?
Maybe the boy held his mouth.
That also seems possible. Also, there's another point we might bring out. Anyone who is clear enough mentally to wipe away the fingerprints after murdering someone, well, that person is also clear enough mentally to look around the apartment, or room in this case, to see if there are any other clues. It would just be for a second or two, I should think. But still, he would look around.
This gets better and better.
We're trying to make it clear. One doesn't talk about quality when murder's involved. Well, let's do it.
About this on the fingerprints. The boy wiped the fingerprints off the knife, but what about the doorknob? If I saw a man walking into my home, a man that hated me, and he was wiping the doorknobs with a handkerchief on his way in, it would give me an uneasy feeling. The doorknobs must have been wiped after the killing, and this too would have taken some time.
You timed the last one. Why don't you time this one too? All right. Stamp your vote when you want me to start.
I want the hand to be at 60.
I'm going to kill you! You would have wiped both knobs. Stop!
15, 20, 29 and a half seconds, I'd say.
And whoever did murder the old man, and I think it was a kid, he still had time to run down the hall and down the stairs. At least one flight of stairs.
You see? You see?
So, the old man might have been wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but in view of this, I think it's quite reasonable to assume that he did see the kid run down the stairs.
So now both time sequences same. The one you did and the one we did. But with running downstairs and everything, it does seem to check out on time.
Sure, he's an old man who probably wants some attention, but the old man feels the way everybody does. A life is at stake.
So, the story of the old man may well be true, except for the fact that he absolutely swore, under oath, that it was only 15 seconds.
And we seem to all agree that it was 25 to 40 seconds later.
You are now admitting that the old man lied in one case and told the truth in another. I admit this does tend to confirm the story of the old man, but in part he is now a proven liar. And this is by your own admission.
That may be true that the old man lies in part, but I think I'll change my vote once more. Guilty.
What about you? What do you think now?
I'm not just sure what I think. I want to talk some more. At first I thought guilty, then I changed. Now I'm sort of swinging back to guilty.
What about you?
No, I'm in real doubt now. Real doubt.
I think guilty. I was right the first time.
Now we're beginning to make sense in here.
The vote seems to be about 9 guilty and 3 not guilty.
One more question about the old man downstairs. How many of you live in apartment buildings? I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking. What's that?
I do not live in a tenement, but it is close if there is just enough light in the hall so you can see the steps. No more. The light bulbs are so small. And this murder took place at a tenement. Remember how we stumbled down the steps?
The police officers were using big bulbs and one even had a flashlight, remember?
An old man who misjudged the time by 20 seconds. On this, we all agree. This old man looked down the dark hallway of the tenement and recognized a running figure.
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
Then could not the old man be 100% wrong about the we saw?
That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of. You're making up out in there.
We're a hung jury, let's be honest about it.
Do you truly feel that there is no room for reasonable doubt?
Yes, I do.
I beg your pardon, but maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt?
What do you mean I don't understand it? Who do you think you're gonna talk to me like that? How do you like this woman? She comes over here, running for her life, and before she can even take a big breath, she's telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of her.
No one here is asking where anyone came from,
I was born right here.
or where your father came from. Maybe it wouldn't hurt us to take a few tips from people who come running here. Maybe they've learned something we don't know. We're not so perfect.
Please, I'm used to this. It's all right. Thank you.
It's not all right.
Okay, I apologize. Is that what you want?
That's what I want.
All right, let's stop arguing. Who has something constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little. This whole business about the scaffolding when I was made. The downward they love it, you know?
Don't tell me you're going to stop that. They went over it and over it in court.
I know they did, but I don't go along with it. The boy was 5 feet 8 inches tall, and his father was 6 feet 2 inches tall. That's a difference of 6 inches. It's a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest of someone who's a half foot taller than you are.
Look, you're not going to be satisfied till you see it again. I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. Okay. Now watch this. I won't have to do it again. That's 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
All right. Let it be more. Ha!
That's not funny.
What's the matter with you?
Now calm down. Nobody's hurt. Are they?
No, nobody's hurt.
All right. There's your angle. Take a look at it. Down and in. That's how I stab a tall man in the chest? That's how it's done. Take a look at it and tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess he's not arguing.
Did you ever stab a man?
Of course not.
Did you?
Now let's not be silly here.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Where did you get all your information about how it's done?
What do you mean? It's just common sense.
Have you ever seen a man stabbed?
No.
Alright, I want to ask you something. The boy was an experienced knife fighter. He was even sent to reform school for knifing someone. Isn't that so?
That's right.
Look at this. Doesn't it seem like an awkward way to handle a knife?
What are you asking me for?
Wait a minute. What's the matter with me? Give me that knife.
Have you ever seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
In the movies?
In my backyard. On my stoop, in the vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood I lived in. Funny I didn't think of it before. I guess you don't forget those things. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife would never have it downwards. That's not how you use a switch knife. Use it underhanded.
Then he couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
I suppose it's conceivable that it could have made the wound, but it's not likely. Not kid have ever had any experience with knives. And we know this kid had a lot of experience with knives.
I don't believe it.
Neither do I. You're giving us a lot of mumbo jumbo.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
What about you?
Listen, I'll tell you all something. I'm a little sick of this whole thing already. We're getting nowhere fast. Let's break it up and go home.
Before we decide anything more, I'd like to try to pull this all together.
This should be good.
She has the right. Let her go, then.
Do you want me to time this too?
Let's hear her. I'm in advertising. I'm used to the big shots and pulling things together. Let's chip up a few shots and see if any will land on the green.
I want you all to look at this logically and consistently.
We have guilty.
I want to know, is the kid smart or is the kid dumb? What do you mean? This kid who was sent to reform school for knife fighting. The night of the murder, he bought a knife, a switch knife. It would then take a very stupid kid to go murder a man. His father was an instrument that everyone would associate with the kid.
I quite agree. He's dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why did he make the kind of wounded, inexperienced man a big with a knife?
I'm not sure I understand.
To murder someone takes great emotion, great hatred. And at that moment, he would handle a knife as best as he could. And a trained knife fighter would handle it as he had been trained, underhand. A man who has not been trained would go overhand. But this kid is being very smart. Everyone knows he is an experienced knife fighter, so he's smart enough at that moment to make the kind of wound an amateur would make. That man is a smart man. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. Perhaps even smart enough to do the killing as an L train was going by in order to cover the noise. Now, is the kid smart or is the kid dumb?
And now wait a minute.
Well, the woman across the L track saw the murder through the L train. So someone in that L train could have seen the murder too.
A possibility, but nobody did that we know of.
It would take an awfully dumb man to take that chance, doing the murder as the train went by.
Exactly. A dumb man. A very stupid man. A man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. He probably didn't even hear the train coming. so, the kid is dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with a switch knife. A switch knife murderer, and then a moment later he becomes smart. The kid is smart enough to make the kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else, and yet the same instant, he is dumb enough to do the killing as an L train is going by. And then a moment later, he is smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. To make this boy guilty, you have to say he's dumb from about 8 o'clock until about midnight. And then about midnight, he is smart 1 second, then dumb for a few seconds, then smart again, then once again, he becomes stupid. So stupid that he does not even think of a good alibi. Now, is the kid smart or is he dumb? To say he is guilty, you have to toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is doubt, doubt, doubt. I never thought of that. And the old man downstairs. On the stand, he swore it was 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds. But we all agreed that it must have been almost 40 seconds.
Does the old man lie half of the time, and does he tell the truth the other half of the time?
For the kid to be guilty, he must be stupid, then smart, then stupid, then smart, and so on. And also, for the kid to be guilty, the old man must be a liar half the time, and the other half the time he must tell the truth. You can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold on reasonable doubt. I think I am too.
I wanted more talk and then better.
I want another vote.
Okay, there's another vote called for. I guess the easiest way is a show of hands. Anyone object? All those voting not guilty, raise your hand. 9. All those voting guilty? 3. The vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people! How do you believe this kid is innocent? Look, you know how these people lie. I don't have to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need any real big reason to kill someone either. You know, these people get drunk and bang! Somebody's lying in the gut. Nobody's blaming them. That's just how they are. You know what I mean? Violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Hey, where are you going? Look, these people are drinking and fighting all the time. And if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. Oh, sure, there are some good things about them too. Look, I'm the first to say that I remember people who were pretty decent. But that's the exception. Most of them, it's like they have no feelings. They can do anything. Hey, what's going on here? I'm speaking my piece, and you listen to me. There's not one of them who's any good. This kid on trial, take it from me. Well, don't you know about them? Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to split your skull.
I'm only...
Oh, right. Sit down. Everybody. I still believe the boy is guilty of murder. I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning piece of evidence was given by the woman across the street who claimed she actually saw the murder being committed.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
All right, let's go over her testimony. What exactly did she say? I believe I can recount it accurately. She said she went to bed at around 11 o'clock that night. Her bed is next to the window, and she can look out of that window while lying down and see directly into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, she turned towards the window at about 12:10, and as she looked out, she saw the boy stab his father. As far as I can see, this is unshakable testimony.
That's what I mean. That's the whole case.
Frankly, in view of this, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal. What do you think?
Well, maybe there's so much evidence to sift.
What do you mean, maybe? She's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling. I don't deny the validity of the points that she has made. Shall we say that on one side of the tracks there is doubt? But what can you say on the story of the woman? She saw it.
What time is it?
Can't make it till 6. You don't suppose my fellows go home and finish this in the morning? Gotta keep the mums.
Not a chance.
Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Oh, glasses are a nuisance, aren't they? Well, what do you all do when you wake up at night and you want to know what time it is?
I just put on my glasses and look at the clock.
was a child. My father gave it to me when we married, my husband and I. It was 10 years before I had a place to put it. Do you wear your glasses in bed?
Of course not. No one wears glasses to bed.
The woman who testified that she saw the killing wears glasses. What about her? Did she wear glasses?
Of course! She wore bifocals. I remember this very clearly. They looked quite strong.
That's right. Bifocals. She never took them off.
Funny. I never thought of that. I think it's logical to say that she wasn't wearing her glasses to bed. And I don't think she put them on to casually glance out the window. She testified that the murder took place the instant she looked out, and the lights went out a split second later. She wouldn't have had the time to put on her glasses then. Now, perhaps this woman honestly thought that she saw the boy kill his father. I say that she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How didn't she know all these things?
Does anyone else think there's still not a reasonable doubt?
I'll always wonder, but there is a reasonable doubt.
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else? No, I'm convinced. There is a reasonable doubt. You're alone.
11 votes not guilty, 1 vote guilty.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I told you, I think he's guilty. What else do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We're waiting to hear them again. We have time.
Listen, what's the matter with you? You're the one. You made all the arguments. You can't turn now. The guilty man's gonna be walking the streets, a murderer. He's got to die. Stay with me.
I'm sorry. I'm convinced. I don't think I'm wrong often, but I guess I was this once. There is a reasonable doubt in my mind. We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. It's gonna be a hung jury. That's it.
There's nothing we can do about that except hope that some night, maybe in a few months, why, you might get some sleep.
You're all alone.
It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
If it is a hung jury, there will be another trial. And some of us will point these things out to the various lawyers.
All right.
They're waiting. Not guilty.
Not guilty.